Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite_UK. Dive into in-depth sports analysis and discover valuable lessons from every game. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
There are matches where the score is just a number, but there are also matches where every point clearly reflects the gap in skill level, tactical thinking, composure, and the ability to maintain precision throughout 80 minutes of play. After following the entire flow of this match, what impressed me most was not simply South Africa's dominant victory or England's heavy defeat, but the way both teams presented two completely contrasting pictures of performance at the highest level of world rugby. South Africa entered the match with the confidence of a world champion, but what was even more admirable was that they did not play with any sense of complacency. From the very first minutes, the team created the impression that every situation had been prepared long before the match even began. Accurate passing, near-perfect support play, extremely fast decision-making, and seamless coordination between units left the opposition with almost no time to organize their defense. I did not see a team relying solely on physical strength, but rather a highly scientific machine where each player clearly understood their role.
What I particularly like about South Africa is that they do not just play fast, they play correctly. Speed here is not recklessness, but the result of superior game reading. When every decision is made a split second earlier, and every contest is handled efficiently, speed naturally emerges. This is a very important lesson not only in sport but also in life. Many people think success requires doing things quickly, but in reality, careful preparation and precision are what create sustainable speed. I was also very impressed by South Africa's squad depth. In many teams, the absence of star players creates gaps that are extremely difficult to fill. However, this match proved otherwise. Even with personnel changes, their style of play was barely affected. The players coming off the bench quickly integrated into the system and maintained a very high level of intensity. This shows that true strength does not lie in a few outstanding individuals, but in the quality of the collective, the training system, the team culture, and the unity in how everything operates. On the other hand, England are not a weak team.
In fact, they still created moments that made viewers believe the game could turn around. After falling behind heavily, they remained composed and scored several consecutive points to narrow the gap and bring the match back into balance before half-time. This shows that their fighting spirit is still very commendable. A team that can be outmatched technically, but still refuses to give up deserves respect. However, the more I watched, the more I realized that England's biggest issue was not their attacking ability, but their discipline. Repeated errors in contact situations, inaccurate decisions, and especially disciplinary penalties erased much of their earlier effort. Against a team like South Africa, which is highly efficient at exploiting mistakes, every small error quickly turns into major consequences. Unfortunately, many of the points conceded did not come from absolute superiority of the opponent, but from their own mistakes. From this match, I understand more clearly that at the highest level of sport, victory is not determined by talent alone. Discipline, focus, and emotional control are what allow a team to maintain an advantage throughout the game.
Just a few minutes of lapse in concentration can erase dozens of minutes of hard work. That is what happened to England when the gap was still bridgeable, but consecutive mistakes pushed the match completely out of control. I also really appreciate how South Africa continued to experiment even while holding a large lead. Their willingness to adjust player positions or try new tactical options during such an important match shows that they are always oriented toward long-term development rather than being satisfied with immediate success. A strong team never stops at protecting what it has achieved but constantly seeks to improve itself. That is the mindset of true champions. On the other side, England still left some positive signals. A number of players performed with admirable spirit, tirelessly contributing in both attack and defense. These moments prove that the team still has quality individuals and is fully capable of making a strong comeback if they can solve issues of discipline and consistency. A heavy defeat can sometimes become an opportunity to clearly see weaknesses that were previously hidden by victories. As a sports fan, I do not want to view this match through the lens of mocking the losing side or overly praising the winner. What I feel more strongly is the value of preparation, collective spirit, and the determination to continuously improve.
Sport always has winners and losers. But what remains after each match are the lessons that both teams and fans can learn. Personally, this match reminds me that success rarely comes from a single explosive moment. Success is built from thousands of small details done correctly every day. A small mistake, if repeated, can become a major failure, while consistently doing the right things creates lasting difference. I also learned not to judge a team solely by the final result. What matters more is how they respond to adversity, how they correct mistakes, and how they keep moving forward. For fans, this match is a reminder that love for a team should not exist only in victory. True supporters must be willing to share in defeat, recognize positive efforts, and patiently wait for improvement. Constructive criticism is always more valuable than insults or mockery. Civilized support contributes to a healthier sporting environment. The match also sends a meaningful message to humanity as a whole. Whether in sport, study, work, or any field, precision, discipline, teamwork, and the desire for self-improvement are always the foundations of long-term success. No victory lasts forever if people stop learning, and no defeat is meaningless if we turn it into motivation for progress. Perhaps that is the most beautiful meaning sport brings, not only producing champions on the field, but also inspiring everyone to become a better version of themselves.
Thank you for being part of Scrum Masters Elite_UK. We look forward to seeing you again in future lessons inspired by sports and life.